morning and welcome to VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner on Friday, May the 16th. We've got to the end of the week and what a week it's been really busy. Morning, Paul. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Still pretty cool outside, though the sun is out.
It's pretty chilly riding for what it's worth. But I think it's going to get hotter as the day goes on because it's going to be sunny. So don't panic. We'll get up into the 20s, I think. And the weekend's looking pretty good, although a bit of cloud around, but again in the 20s. But anyway, look, I'm not too worried about the weekend weather because I'm off to New York to the SME mining conference. I've got a lot of meetings already lined up, actually, and a lot of interest from American investors to get involved in mining. It's not a sector that they really have out there. They rely upon Canada or elsewhere. So I'm pretty excited about it because there's a lot of money out there that wants to go into mining. And because of that, actually, Paul, you will be doing the 5 Minute Morning Miner with somebody else next week because I ain't getting up at whatever time it would be, 3:45 just to record a 5 Minute Morning Miner. Anyway, look, news is pretty thin out there today. I'll let you talk about a couple of stocks that you think might be interesting, and then we'll probably call it a day because it was a long one yesterday.
Yeah, I think you like tungsten, don't you, Andrew?
I think everybody knows that I like tungsten, so you're probably going to talk about Larvotto Resources.
Yes, I am. Larvotto Resources, the ASX-listed firm that's looking to redevelop the Hillgrove mine in Australia, the historic gold antimony producer. Well, there is tungsten in those ores as well, and they've quantified the volumes of tungsten in the various deposits for the first time, as tungsten hadn't been considered a commercial product or co-product of value previous production statements or resource statements by the company or historically. There is tungsten in the Bracken Spur mineral resource, the Clark Scully resource as well, and it comes to several thousands of tons, but so far overall less than 10,000 contained tons of WO3. So it won't be the major contributor, of course, to Hillgrove restart, but it will be a payable co-product here. And the DFS will incorporate tungsten into its study. So that's good news for Larvotto because it means added commercial quality revenue.
It always makes me laugh, though, Paul. You know, when you see a commodity price starting to shoot up through the roof, suddenly it's discovered everywhere around the world. And everybody now has got tungsten because the price is going through the roof. And it makes me cry also that our own Tungsten West, you know, has gone sideways for so many years. If only it had got into production as it should have done a few years back ago, we'd be standing in pole position. But unfortunately, nowadays, everybody's got tungsten. Everybody's ringing up the US Department of Defense to say, can we have some money, please? Everyone's ringing up Exim Bank to say, can we have some money, please? They're not going to fund every single project. That's where actually those that are actually in production have a huge advantage. And of course, you know, someone like Guardian Metal, who are actually in the States, have a big advantage. But anyway, we've been there before. No need for me to repeat it. That was Larvotto. Do you want to comment on anything else, Paul?
Yes, the Ukraine iron ore producer in London quoted Ferrexpo said yesterday that they have chosen to put this subsidiary that has been in litigation with the government for several years now voluntarily into bankruptcy application. The appeal is still yet outstanding for a final decision, but the government keeps coming back to them with claim after claim about this particular subsidiary that the parent company was connected to this subsidiary's guarantees on some deals done years ago by the Ukrainian billionaire Mr. Zhivagos. So the government simply won't give up, and Ferrexpo essentially is putting the subsidiary at arm's length in order to make sure there's no direct impact on shareholders. There's also in other news, there's the big news in Canada was the report of a new PEA and a new mineral resource estimate for Stllr Gold. That's the Canadian explorer there. in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt area, big land position, big low grade deposits to be developed, much like what was or has been the very successful Malartic operation that was developed some years ago. This one, the investors, though, have given a big yawn to, I would say, because the share price just hardly moved even a few tenths of a single percent on the news. The new mineral resource is above 4 million ton or 4 million ounces of gold in indicated and 7 million ounces of inferred. But the PEA shows that the grade has not improved, even though they have raised the cutoff grade from what had been a prior $1,600 an ounce PEA to a $2,500 an ounce PEA. 19-year mine life, 13% post-tax IRR for 270,000 ounces per year. Producer over 19 years. That gives it an NPV of $1 billion, which is what institutional investors want to see as for consideration to be investable. But it's going to have a $1.8 billion Canadian capex, so it will definitely be as probably as sharply considered, but uh, not easily funded project going forward.
Sounds like a bloody expensive mine to build, but there you go. That's me being very sweet and simple, if that's the right phrase. Me, sweet and simple. I don't know about that. Anyway, there you go. Look, that'll do. Have a great weekend, and I'm sure you'll enjoy listening to Paul and somebody else next week. Thanks.
Very good. Thanks.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.